Look up here. Top left-hand corner of the screen.
I pressed go live. It's 100% live.
Okay.
Show's been cancelled. Gav has been hospitalised by a kangaroo.
It's fucking... I have it here in front of me.
Not live. It's not
No,
on.
we would have to go into the thing. It's not.
Oh, what the fuck is going on here? Literally has live in front of it.
Oh, there, we're live now. It's at 145. There you go.
I'm live
Somebody
now.
said,
Well, I've pressed live like fucking 4 minutes ago.
There, we are live.
It's
there
on my
you
screen.
go.
4 minutes ago.
Just making sure, just keeping it on your toes. Oh, yeah, we're asking me how my weekend was.
Yeah, go on. How was your weekend?
Yeah.
Fuck Seany's and Emmet's. No one has seen it, so how was yours?
It wasn't live.
I swear to God, it has live in front of me. I'm live for 3.5 minutes now.
Right, well, did you hear about Seany and Emmet's weekends? Let us know. Just make sure.
You didn't hear about me.
It must be a YouTube issue because I've pressed live here and I can't do anything else. I can't press any other button to make it go
you can only do
more
your
live.
best.
How was your weekend?
Mine was alright, yeah, a bit of a head cold, but as you touched on there, at least Liverpool didn't ruin it. Delighted with the match today, to be honest. I loved them scuttery games where we grilled them out, so delighted with that. And yeah, good weekend, no complaints.
Good stuff. Right, intro was absolutely fucked. Seany and Emmet's weekend, didn't hear about it, but they had a good time. Keith has a head cold, but he loves them sort of games. I can't fucking do any more than that. Right, so on to the game. Liverpool 2-1 winners at Spurs. Gonna go through the lineups first. Seany, Alisson, the back four that you usually expect. Konate is there, which I think is a massive plus. Fabinho, Thiago, Elliott, Nunez, Firmino, Salah. What you expected, Seany? I kind of expected to see Henderson in there, I'm going to be honest, but is that what you expected to see?
Yeah, I did, to be honest. There's not much you can do now with the front lads, and I think Konate has kind of played him. Konate has kind of made himself undroppable when fit with his form and the usual back four and Alisson. And it was just sort of a thing whether he was going to show them loads of respect and play Henderson or carry on with Elliott, and he carries on with Elliott. And with hindsight, it proves to be the right thing to do, because I think actually Antonio Conte gets away with more in terms of his approach to these big games. I think it's actually farcical. It's laughable. I'd love to see his record against the Big Six, because I don't know. I don't know how long that's going to fly with Spurs fans, but that was exactly what I expected. And to be honest with you, I was actually quietly confident going into this game. Having watched, I don't know what you are like, but when I know a game like this is coming up, I'd kind of keep an eye on how Spurs are doing. And I watched the Bournemouth game, I watched the Sporting Lisbon game, and I watched that game back midweek against Marseille, and I actually think that's right, to be honest with you. I think they really rely on the brilliance of Kane and Son, who was missing today, obviously. And I think that's basically what Conte has done since he's come in at Spurs. He's kind of just said, you know what, the rest of you sort of be functional, and I'll leave it to Kane and Son to work it out whether we win games or not. And I think when you kind of look at it today, we were lucky in the sense that Spurs just aren't really good. I know they've loads of points on the table, but I actually don't expect them to hang around there, because I can't see Conte seeing it out there. I really don't. I think the stain will start to grow, because one thing I know about Spurs fans is whatever about winning trophies and all, they won't settle for shy football. They didn't do it with Mourinho. They didn't do it with anyone else, and they stomached Pochettino until the team was burnt out. Now, obviously, Kulusevski's back from them now, so it changes because he's a really good player. But
really good.
Honestly, I was looking at Spurs today, and although they had everything in the second half, I'm kind of going, these don't have a game plan. They're just whacking in the box.
Yeah.
They're just whacking in. They're whacking in the box in the hope that something falls.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of watching it going, like, people are turning around saying it was a brilliant game and all. I thought it was shy. And I actually felt kind of calm watching it in the second half, because I'm just kind of like going, if it's going to be, it's going to be. So it was one of them games. Not surprised to see how Conte acted after the game. The stuff he was coming out with. Man's clearly rattled. But yeah, I'd imagine most of the top tier sides now, even lads that finished second in the group, would be looking at Spurs now in the next round, going, you know what, we can have a go there, because I really don't think, like, I was literally just thinking today, let these fuckers have the ball and see what they do. And the first half they did it. So, do you know what? Fair play to Klopp for not giving them that respect and continuing with Elliot. I think it did the job anyway in the end.
Emmet, you know, when you look at Spurs and the way they lined up, and I think it was Kev I seen on Twitter when the lineups came out, he just said, "Oh my God, I've seen the lineups. It's going to be a long day." And I think that was more in a reaction to what Spurs had put on the pitch. You know, it just seemed like he found all his midfielders and went, "Listen, put them all on the fucking pitch." You know what I mean? And like Seany says there, with Spurs, I think it's not just a thing today. I think it's an ongoing thing for a while with Spurs under Conte, is give them the ball, because they don't have, for me, an Eriksen type that's going to find little pockets and hurt you. They want to have, you know, those three centre halves. They want their wing backs to push up a bit, but they're looking to just make space wide and get it in the box, or get maybe a Son down the channel. But like Seany said, they're just about getting in the box and hoping Kane gets a flick on it, or gets a touch, or pulls a penalty out of his hole, wherever it might be. Like, it was a bit like that today, and I think it showed in the first and second half. You know, we kind of did say to them, "You go on, have it," and then we just hurt them. Do you know what I mean? And then the second half, we were. I don't mind inviting the team on, but when you invite them on by being as ragged as we were, it just gave them more and more chances to launch her in the box, basically. You know, but looking at Liverpool, you know, we're still at a stage a little bit, aren't we, where you just go, that's probably the 11. You know, it's easy enough to pick a team. Like I said, I thought Henderson might come in for Elliot just to be that solid going away to Spurs, who have a really good home record. But he goes with Elliot, and I don't think Elliot had his best game, but like Seany said, it showed a bit of courage from him, didn't it, to say, no, we just stick with what we're doing.
Yeah, I think you might have been right in terms of Henderson. I think there's a few shouts today that thought maybe Henderson was going in, and I'd imagine it's the injury to he who shall not be named until later on in the podcast. Probably his injury probably made up his mind in terms of he's going to have to continue to rotate, because he'd been back training a couple of weeks now, and maybe he thought, like, that's why maybe people thought that he might go in, that we do have that kind of nearly as backup. Yeah, look, Elliot has had a lot more good games than bad games. Today's game was, I wouldn't say I was as calm as Seany, or I was as looking forward to it, I was quietly as confident. Because I don't feel I can be these days. But Spurs, it is an ongoing thing with Spurs. They have shit first halves, and that kind of nearly was good for us, because we normally have shit first halves. But I thought our first half today was unbelievable. The crisp first touch, 1 and 2 touch passing was back. The little ball around, like, I mean, it was only like 5 passes for the first goal, but like it was just, everything was done fast. And then in the second half, everything was done slow. So we kind of nearly reversed our game ourselves, because we'd been shit in the first half, good in second halves, and we kind of flipped the script today. In terms of Spurs, Kulusevski was the first person to try and slide Kane in the whole game. What was that, the 70th minute or something? Yeah. Do you mean, so they don't have, you're right, they don't have that Eriksen or whatever, and it was just diagonal balls out to Seany, and that's really where they were getting their joy in the first half. But there was a couple of kind of underhanded comments from Kane in his post-match about the crowd and about them getting on the players' backs and stuff like that. And that's Conte ball. That's, like you said, they didn't stick for Mourinho ball. They booed them off the pitch. Robbo even had a little dig in his little bit of shithousery. He said, we knew they'd come at us. They got booed off at half time. I couldn't believe he actually said it. And it was like a little dig. Yeah, no, they're not going to put up with that. They can't continue on playing like that. They
But
will
they will.
get. They will get. Well,
Of course they will.
You
they're
see,
gonna. That kind of football is not going. I don't think that kind of football is going
it's
to get
probably
them where
not.
they need to be.
No, it's not sustainable. I think when you do look like Shawnee said, where you're looking for a brilliance from Kane or Son is probably their most important player. I know Kane scores all the goals, but Son makes it work because he's that link from a very functional midfield, very kind of functional wing back. He's that link where he'll make that run to, get to the end line or get in a space where he can find Kane to be so important to them. And it's probably not sustainable. And it just shows that when they miss a player in Son, they suffer massively for it.
But even he's not been that great this season.
No, he
Son
hasn't.
hasn't.
But if you look at the amount of points he's put on the board with Son on the pitch, as opposed to
true.
not. And look, there's so many games this season where you go, Spurs haven't been good, and I'm not saying that as a Liverpool fan.
Can't
I know
believe,
Spurs fans have said it. Sorry, Shawnee. And they asked, what did Conte say after the game? Because I didn't see what Conte said either.
He asked a reporter what the Klopp think about style of play today. Was he happy with our style of play today?
Okay.
And because remember Klopp turned around and said they don't play football last time, basically. Remember, he said, but once he's happy, that's all I care. I just wanted to know his opinion. I'm sure you did. The Conte is a fucking tool. But even today, their setup, the ball was breaking to them in midfield, and they were just lumping it.
Yeah.
The amount of times Højbjerg and Bentancur went for a long pass, and it just trickled back to Alisson. People saying the post saved us. We had as many chances in the fucking second half as they did. We just didn't take them. That's I don't know. Spurs are one of them sides that I just think you listen to Tyler and you listen to Neville today. They just seem to love them because they don't defend anyone. You know what I mean? They never really trouble everyone. They're always like the bridesmaid, That's cellmate at the party who doesn't cause any trouble. Comes up in the nice flashy gear but never really fucking does that, so he doesn't offend anyone. So I think that's what it is with them. I think people kind of side with them, especially when they're playing someone like us, because the shite I was hearing before the game was and this injury rabid Spurs. I'm going, injury rabid Spurs? Have you fucking seen their medical table? Not a mention of it. Nothing at all.
It's crazy, isn't it, the way that gets overlooked for us?
The narrative was fucking completely different. And even Redden at point, I'm missing Cool. Fucking hell. We haven't got an alternative forward to bring off the bench.
But I think, Shawnee, the reason they do that is because I think they see what we're talking about. They see that Spurs rely so heavily on this that they're missing Kulusevski and Son. Because they look at that team and they don't see where they're going to get the creativity or the assists from or the chances made for Kane. And I know the way the narrative is pushed and they're very good at it, because I said it the other day to you on Twitter. They're not pundits anymore, they're characters. But that's what they're probably seeing what we see. We're saying we're all looking at that today going, Kulusevski doesn't start, Son doesn't start, Kane's going to be up front. What are they going to do? They'll probably pack a midfield with 5 and they'll probably put one off Kane and will give us a better chance. And they're seeing this, but they're pushing it in a different way.
I thought Neville's bit of punditry was actually good today when he was saying I'm interested to see what Kane does today, because he's not going to be able to get on the end of his own passes.
Yeah.
Perisic is a good player. He's had a good career at high level throughout. He's played at a very high level, but you're looking thinking he's not. I think he kind of tried to play him as sort of like a number 10, chief creator today, and Perisic's not the type of player I'd see that kind of run passes. So I actually think Klopp really would have fancied that today at Spurs, because of their setup and how limited they kind of were in attack. And the thing is, if you just sit someone like Kane's a lovely footballer, don't get me wrong, I think he's a beautiful passer of the ball. I think he drops in, but he's not really effective if he doesn't have a co-star. And we've seen that for the first 60, 70 minutes until they brought Kulusevski on. So you're kind of if you hold him down, they're not going to cause you much bother, because Emerson Royale, fuck me. I don't know what the story is with him.
Awful.
He can't cross the ball to save his life. And Sessegnon, I think he's just one of them English players who had really high promise and has just kind of descended into nothingness, really. I'd imagine the Spurs have a fully fit squad. I can't believe your man is not getting games there, your man Jed Spence. But the thing is, he's probably the type of player that Conte wants nothing to do with because
Exactly,
he's not like fucking disciplinarian.
And not even that, your man Brian Gill, I would look at as a sort of player that you come in and go, he'll find spaces and stuff like that. But he doesn't like playing like that. He wants to
get rid of him. Took a squad number and all off him at once.
I think the way to beat Liverpool is float the midfield and be on top of us when we have possession. But they didn't really do that. They just tried to play us on the counter. I was kind of looking down. It was one of them things. If they had got first goal, you would have been like bollocks. But when we scored first, I'm thinking these are fucked because they've no plan B. That plan B will be in the second half when they're just lumping ball and hoping for set pieces. That's like people turn around saying we lived on the edge. We actually didn't. Look at that last 3 games. The Bournemouth game, the Spawn game, and the game midweek. Literally just hoping for something to fall for them in the box or a bit of magic. So I don't know. I think for the money they've spent, I know that's still quite a few points ahead of us, but that's why I'm not.
Well, if Liverpool win that game, and if Liverpool were to win that game in hand, it'd be 4 points off Spurs, and you could put it down as a horrendous start to Liverpool's season, like.
Yeah, and I don't think you look at them all, and I think they've all missed massive opportunities to kind of put Liverpool to bed in a top 4 race, and I think it will come back to bite them because looking at United today, watching Chelsea today, like Chelsea are as bad as Spurs. Like it was like 11 strangers on the pitch.
Chelsea look like they're wandering around going, "What is all this?"
Yeah, like Raheem Sterling is kind of like going, "I'm not winning that this year. I'm not all right. I can't be fucking arsed." So I think I'm not giving up on us yet for top 4, regardless of the bad start. The title I think is out of reach because I've been really impressed, to be honest with you, with what I've seen from Arsenal in the last few weeks. But will they stay the course? I'm not sure they have the squad, but City look like they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. I still think Todd is there for us big time. If they do what's needed in January, and we keep key players fit, because obviously we'll get onto it. But I just thought today the fucking big boys stepped up. Like big characters in the team stepped up. Mo stepped up as per usual. And Konate was fucking brilliant. He did the job of 3 men today. And Alisson, as always. So, look, all hope is not lost. Looking around the league today, obviously, it's shite to drop 6 points to Forest and Leeds. And you're going to have that in this season. I think we can just get a fucking act together.
We just need to get to this World Cup. That's what we need to do. Just win
win our next league game. We've one game now left, so.
Yeah,
we didn't beat anybody in the top 6 last year, and we've already beaten 2. Okay, we've dropped.
Listen,
to the bottom 2, but do you know what I mean?
It'll be absolutely fine. Kat says, think you're underestimating Spurs for a decent side, 4th on the table and in the Champions League. That was a top away win. We're not underestimating them. I think, I think we played them as we thought they were going to play us. You know, the sort of way we came out and we knew they were going to flood things. They were going to try give us the ball, they're trying to hit us on the break, but like when you said there, they didn't. Kane can't get on the end of his own passes, and that's where they usually kill you. They'll get a ball out, they'll get it to Kane will spread it, and next thing they're on top of you, and Kane's making his way in the box, and it's hard to track, and I don't think that was happening today. Spurs are the type. Yeah, I know, but Spurs are the type where what you're seeing from Conte, if he can keep certain players fit, will get them into top 4. But if they lose any of those players, they'll suffer. And there's more and more around them at the moment. Now, I know it's early days. There's more and more around them that are looking, going, we have a fucking chance here. Newcastle included. Like, you look at Newcastle's win today. Hasselhoff will get sacked off the back of it, doesn't he? So, I don't think we're underestimating them, but I think that's why, like Seany said, they seem to like Spurs. They're likeable because I think Spurs are looked upon as a team where you go, yeah, they're grand, but they won't really do anything against you. So they're okay there. We're okay with them being there, but that's it.
So what was Alex Ferguson's team talk before any time they played Spurs?
It's only Spurs.
Boom.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the type of team, yeah.
Keith, let's get into the game because I thought Darwin Nunez was just... I messaged you and Seany after about 10 minutes going, this fella's a bleeding monster. He was all over the place the first 10 minutes, but the first minute, ball breaks down the left-hand side, he gets on it and he hits a good shot. It's a good save by Lloris. He kind of falls off a little bit as the half goes on, but opening up, I was kind of going, hold on, this fella means business again today.
I think he terrorised them at the start, and I think they had to sort of nearly see. Getting back to the Spurs formation, so he's played 3 centre backs, 3 defensive minded midfielders, and 2 wing backs. And I think we were just getting so much joy that they had to tell your man Emerson Royale, you're not to be getting forward at all. You have to get back here on this fella because he's absolutely killing us. And he starts off, he gets that shot. It's a great shot. The pace of him to get away, unreal. And he starts the game well. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's the type of player we could do a show we could do an hour every week on Darwin Nunez. You know what I mean? Because some will like him and some won't like him, and he's got his pros and he's got his cons. But I just think if you look at him, what he's doing, he's certainly not as bad as people are making out, you know. And I think we're seeing improvements all the time with him. Maybe not in an attacking sense, in a defensive sense. I think he's excellent at getting back and digging out the players as well. So I thought he started well. He gets in, has that shot. Like I say, he's causing all sorts of trouble down that Spurs right hand side. And I know Seany's going to agree with this. Sometimes his touch lets him down. It bounces off him. He doesn't get it under control. And that was what was killing him maybe in the first half. But I think as the game went on, I don't really blame Nunez for fading out of the game. I think our midfield didn't really get the ball too much, you know what I mean? So it was one of them games. He started off well. We were on top. He was good. We were pushed back, and he sort of faded out. Similar
he was
to
doing
Mo. I don't think Mo was great.
Like John says, there's work rate defensively has been immense. His tracking back, Klopp will be having his wet dreams thinking about it. He does walk back, you know, and that's part of your game where you're not expecting from. Because I'm being honest with you, I'm just expecting Darwin Nunez to come on, cause all sorts of mayhem, start lashing shots everywhere, and we're all having a lovely time, you know. But
as soon as them shots come off, like, you know,
even now,
go ahead.
The shots. I don't think the shots. That's the volley and all is great, but we seen today, like, he done it against Leipzig as well. I think sometimes he just slows down, then speeds up again, and squares it across the box. And Napoli, they fucking clear one off the line. I think he just needs to relax. Yeah. That's all. I think sometimes he's trying to do things in his head before they've happened, and look, his first touch is grand. Just sometimes when he gets the ball under control, his decision making is terrible.
Is that for you?
Is that for you? Trying too hard.
Yeah, is that for you?
Nerves. I think it's nerves. I think, you know what? He just needs to. He done it today. He's fucking brilliant for the first goal. He's brilliant. It's if Bobby does it, like that's his touch is perfect, and the layoff is brilliant.
Because he gives himself that second to think.
Yeah,
assess the situation, because like even going back to a game against Napoli,
I think he's quicker than he realizes. And to be honest with you, I think kind of it's all in his head. Like, it's coming in on top. I think the treatment of him from in media and social media has been a joke, and it has been getting to him. Because let's be honest, lads, he scores 4 in the pre-season game, and he's putting up the emojis and all that. It's clearly affecting him. Yeah. I think he just needs to relax, because I think he has all the tools. I think he just needs to give himself a second, and that will come. And you're seeing it now. The confidence is there. Like, he can burn defenders. I think he's actually his running style is actually similar to Henry, where over 5 yards he's fucking. It's unbelievable. It's frightening.
The one against Napoli, the other night, that chance you were talking about, he tries to set up for Salah. Like, I'm not saying I'll never see it, but it kind of blew my mind when I watched it a second time back, when he just went,
so quick.
He just threw a shape at your man, pushed it, and within 3 yards, your man was literally 2.5 yards behind him. It was like
you know when your IPTV freezes,
yeah.
You know when it freezes and then it speeds up a bit to catch up on it. Sometimes when he's running, I'm like, is that fucking telly no monkey? Do you know what I mean? Because he's making these bursts, and you're like, that one against Napoli.
You're straight onto a dodgy email address asking, can you sort the signal? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, what's going on here? This fella is flashing on my telly.
I love Nunez. I love him as a character. I love what he brings. I love his work rate. And I think what's happening now is kind of because of the overreaction to other fan bases and getting on top of him. I think the adverse is for the Liverpool fans to hype up every single thing he does to kind of counteract that. When I actually don't think you need to, because if you actually notice, a lot of those people are starting to go a little bit quiet now, because it's looking like
Yeah,
fucking
good,
hell.
because they're all morons.
This fella is a rough diamond, and he just needs a little bit of coaching and a little bit of care. And you need to remember, he's playing in a Liverpool side that's not really doing it at the moment. And he's doing his part. Like, did you see that in the second half, the header? Like, what the fuck? He's off the head.
Yeah.
The ball is bouncing on the byline, and he's going to win a header. I don't know who it's between. I think it's just 50-50 with a Spurs player.
Yeah.
The ball
is
over the back nowhere, and he goes over your man's shoulders. The ball, he's mad. He's absolutely, and he loves swinging hooks. And the best thing is about, I'd be sitting there watching the business, and I tell you what, some of the stuff that's be coming out of his mouth is fucking, it's great. Every other thing's like, fuck's sake. I won't repeat it because but he's look, he just needs to chill out, and I think it'll come for him. And to be honest with you, I'd love nothing more fun. Like, it's gonna be one of them games where he does batters in 4 or 5, and it's just.
And then he kind of settles. Then he kind of goes, right, that's what I've been trying to do for ages, and that's grand. But
look at his return. His return, his output per minute is more than good enough at the moment, and I think it will improve.
Yeah,
it's just getting compared to Haaland, because Haaland is doing this. It's like, oh well, Nunez must be a flop, and it's not the case. You know, the goals per minute.
Anybody with eyes can see that Nunez is 10 times the actual footballer that Haaland is. In terms of skill, ability, he's never going to create anything. Nunez will create stuff.
Jono says Damien Delaney thinks he's soft on Nunez, but you're listening to Damien Delaney, so that's your own fault. Emma, the first goal though, you know, the part played by Nunez, but Liverpool work it really well. You know, they're in their right back, you call it, right back position really, where Trent would usually get hold of the ball, and we knock a few passes off. I think it's Firmino releases Robertson, and Robertson plays a lovely ball in. And this is where the progression for me is with Nunez, where a couple of weeks ago he just takes a stop on that and he just turns and lashes it, you know. But you see him take that, and you can actually see where he takes the touch, and instead of trying to do something instantaneously, he lets himself settle and then goes, I'll just pass to him. And in fairness, you know, there's a lot made about the move and Nunez, but Salah just takes that touch and smashes it home like it's an unerring finish, isn't it?
And it's like, he makes these things look so easy, right? And then it's kind of like, if he doesn't do it next week, you're kind of on his case. Yeah. That's so hard to do, what he did today. Even Nunez, even that ball zipped into Nunez, to be able to take that touch, play it out in front of him. I think a lot of people take it for granted. A lot of people that maybe haven't played football will probably take it for granted. That's tough to do when it's being zipped into you like that. But you're right. In weeks gone by, and I think he's maturing every single game, but in weeks gone by, he would have just turned and probably blazed it over the bar, or it probably would have hit every post and crossbar and gone out for a fucking throw in or something like that. Something mad would have happened. But he took his time and just stroked it to Salah. He does it again in the second half, where you would normally, he's actually running across the front of the box, and you'd expect him just to unleash a shot, and he actually just side foots it to Salah again. I love him as much as the next person. But what it showed in that goal as well is, and I think I said this to you before we came on, well, about 20 minutes before we went live. It
was the best bit. Is on.
And
I'm standing by. It's not my fault because I pressed fucking live YouTube. But get onto them and ask them.
We showed how easy they were to score against. It was like literally 5 passes, and we did it all quick. Versus what we did in the second half, and when we moved the ball quick, that's the way we can play. That's the result. But I thought it was an unbelievable goal, and like I said, I know for a fact, and I played up front for a part of my career. There's no way I'd be able to do that. Like, in that split second, to be able to control the ball and shoot in nearly the one motion it looks so easy, but so difficult.
The thing I loved about it was, like, you know, obviously it's a beautiful goal, but we have that early couple of surges. We've the shot from Nunez, and then there's a couple of early bits where he gets on at Nunez, but, you know, but it's 11 minutes in, and we can see already the way Spurs are setting up. Do you know what I mean? They're going to try win her off as a midfield and try make something out of it, and, like you say, getting her in the box and stuff like that. But it's the first real clear-cut chance we have, and we just put it away, you know. And if we don't score that, it goes on a bit longer because, like, Keith, I'll come to you, right? 14th minute, Perisic hits the post. 19th minute, they've a call for a penalty, Trent on Sessegnon. Kanate has to come across a few minutes later to snuff out Sessegnon breaking into the box when it looks like he might be through on goal. And there's a little period there where Spurs are getting chances, and that goal is so important, isn't it? Like, if you look at Keith, take the goal and then take the little period after, it is a little bit of a cushion because known here, look, Salah doesn't score that, and that one off the post, or they get a penalty, and you know how this game's going to go. We're 1-0 down, they're going to just, double down on what they're doing, and it's another frustrating day for Liverpool.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, their crowd was abysmal, I thought, in the first half, but the headed chance that hits the post sort of wakes them up. And then I thought we let them into it. We got sloppy, whereas in the first 10, 15, I thought we were crisp, as you said. We were moving the ball fast. And look, they're targeting that side with Trent, so Sessegnon against Trent, and I think, Sean, you touched on Sessegnon just not being, up to speed. If they'd have had a better sort of outlet there, they might have had some joy, but it was giving them little bits of momentum, little things to pick up the crowd and get them back into it. And you could see as the half was going on, they were getting them little... don't get me wrong, I don't think Spurs created very much today. I thought they were piss, and I'd be of the opinion that, when we do say, watch the game back later on, and without the tension or the nerves of when you're watching it in real time, I think when you watch this game back, you'd be like, Spurs didn't really do anything here. And it was just the odd little lapse, like we could say about Trent on the Sessegnon push. Could have been given as a penalty. We've seen them given, and it wouldn't have been overturned the same way it's not given, it's not overturned. I've seen people trying to compare it with the Cancelo one yesterday, which is a bit mad. But I just thought we were giving them little opportunities to get the crowd up. And that just killed, the second goal just kills them off. Because we see, as Emmet said about Robbo giving them a little dig in his post-game speech, the fans are booing them at half-time because it was so easy then to just get into them. I think they missed Christian Romero today. He's an excellent player. He's a dirty, hard fucker in their defence that they didn't have. Eric Dyer and Ben Davis and Clement Lenglet, they're not great. And I think, like, Mo sniffed blood. I know it's easy to say that because Dyer makes an absolute bollocks of the header, but when the likes of an Eric Dyer, I think he always has a mistake in him. And I think when he's going for that, Mo is on his toes because he's like, right, this could go anywhere. And he was alert to that. And we've played Spurs in games before where Mo hasn't really got a look in because they've sort of clamped them down and shut them down. But I thought he was just more central areas. He was doing so much damage to them, and he was targeting their weakness, and he got his joy in it, and that sort of shut them up a bit. And I did think they were going to come out better second half, but I was surprised how poor we were, how much we let them come into a second half, but it was just the way the game was going. We let them, we were giving them the opportunities to get back in, so I don't think they were great.
Around the table really quickly, Keith, I'll start with you. Is it a penalty?
I don't think it is, but I've seen them given, so
I'm the same. In this day and age, I've absolutely seen them given. Emmet, for you?
I'm the exact same. I don't think it is, but we definitely have seen them given. And I was shouting at the fucking telly, like, what are you doing giving them a decision to make? He's going nowhere. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's probably going to run out of play or come close to it. He's going to probably have to pull it back, and then that's your chance to get the ball. What the fuck are you doing giving them a decision to make? And look, we've had bad decisions against Spurs before. We didn't get decisions against Spurs before, and I was just praying that the old finger doesn't go up to the ear, like, do you know what I mean, a whole play or whatever. But you've definitely seen them give.
Seany?
All I'll say is we are just lucky it wasn't Harry Kane, and it was Sessegnon.
Yeah.
It would have been given.
Yeah, that's fair, because yourself, the word clever would have been splashed all over your papers tomorrow.
And to be honest with the lads, I don't like. I watched the game with my old lad today, and we kind of said to myself, like, I'm not actually sure I understand the rules anymore in terms of like, it just seems to, I don't know, it just seems to me now like any contact in the box is a penalty. when you look at the one Arsenal got against us a couple of weeks ago, and Kevin De Bruyne yesterday, and that today. So like, I don't know,
so inconsistent, isn't it?
I don't know what the rules are, but all I'm saying is we were blessed today that wasn't Harry Kane, because if it had been Harry Kane, he would have fucking, no doubt about it. If you didn't give it, it would have been VAR checked to the fucking hilt. Yeah. So, and even in the second half, they were looking at trying to give him one when he fucking rakes his studs down the back of
How disappointed did they sound when they realised it wouldn't have been a penalty anyway?
I just couldn't. I'll get onto that in a bit, because I just had a totally different.
No, I don't know. I don't understand the rules of the game anymore, because.
No, you're right in what you're saying.
To me, the ball is going down the side, and all that is the Trent helping him on his way to where he's going. Like, Sessegnon's already going down. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's the key. Sessegnon's looking for that because he sees the white line coming into view. He knows this ball's running out of play, and he's looking for any touch off Trent, and he's going down. Trent doesn't actually. He's running beside him, and he's trying to use his weight. And Sessegnon's already looking for it, and the push looks worse. But if he was just pushing back, if that was going straight through 1-on-1 with a goal in front of you, the two of them would be just battling. Where the Sessegnon's running out of pitch, and he's like,
Kane would have got that. Kane would have got it.
I think you're right. Keith, sorry, not Keith. Emmet. Konate today. You know, I thought he was really, really good. Really, really good today, and you know he's been away injured. He's come back. He's had Has he had 2 games since he come back? 2, yeah.
I think he come on. I thought he came on in one of the games, and then I think he gets
So maybe one last bit.
Week, and
but he's starting to get back into it. I know where we've only he won't. I don't think he'll play against Derby. He'll definitely play against Southampton, but. How encouraging was he today? Because I thought he was excellent in the air against Kane. Because Kane, if Spurs aren't able to play the way they're meant to play, Kane's looking for a ball up to him and an over-eager defender that's going to fucking clatter in the back here, and he's going to win free kicks 20 yards inside your half, and they can play from there and Lampard in the box, as we keep saying. But he's so clever today for me, Konate. He's up early, he's winning it. He's actually pulling away from Kane to take a run and jump. I thought he was really, really good today. On ball, off the ball, covering. It was really good to see, wasn't it? And about time we can talk well about centre half.
He's an absolute monster. I think somebody said earlier on, and I don't know whether it was WhatsApp or the Telegram, that he's probably the person that covers Trent the best, including the midfield. Just his pace, like he absolutely dominates his part of the pitch. And you're right. He could have kept going through the back of Kane, but I think that was a conscious decision, obviously, to kind of back off, give himself a run at winning the headers. But I mean, even getting across where kind of Trent did get, or Sessegnon got around Trent, and it's Konate coming across and bringing it out into the right back position. He's just, people have, I can't even remember who it was that said on here before that, like, if you were going to design in a lab your ideal centre half, you'd make Ibu Konate. Like, he's an absolute monster.
Yeah, I really did. I thought he was excellent, and you know, to come back and not be far, not be long back from an injury that's kept them out a good little while, to be back and play like that, and to have to be the focus really, because the focus was much more on Kane again today, because he hadn't got those lads running off each side of him, to deal with him so well. Both, in a footballing sense and physically, I thought he was absolutely excellent.
There was a couple of shots of him as well.
He was fucking crazy out of the way to get the headers and all.
Yeah.
And he seems to be becoming a lot more vocal in the back line.
Yeah.
There's a couple of clips today where
he clears one second half where it kind of bounces, and he might get a header on it, goes out for a corner, and you can see him straight away turning, and he's shouting at 2 or 3 of them. It's not like he's at one, he's talking to everyone across the line of the pitch. Like, I thought he was really good. Seany, 40 minutes comes in though, and then it's just a ball out, and I don't know what Eric Dyer is trying to do. Well, I do. He's trying to head it back to his goalkeeper, but he forgets what his head is doing, and his shoulder gets in the way. But that aside, Seany, it's so good from Salah. He just gets in, sits the keeper down, and clips it.
I think it comes at a good time of the game, because we were kind of starting to lose control of the game a little bit. They were coming into it, and just like Mo doing what a good striker does in gambling. again, I think Neville makes another great point in punditry today where he goes, like, Salah there is actually unbelievable because even if the header is clean from Dyer back to Lloris, Salah's on the end of it. Yeah, like, you know, it's just, well, it's anticipated, and it's one of them things on, like, when Salah is on it, he's on a completely different level to everyone else on the pitch. And that's the way it was today. And it's a brilliant finish. It's very similar to the one against City away in the Champions League where he makes it look a lot easier than it is. So, yeah, I think it was kind of on the balance of the game. Had we been 2-0 up after the couple of chances we had in the first half, you could have only been saying, yeah. And then I kind of felt going in 2-0 at half-time. Not that we were lucky, but it was a welcome sort of gift towards the end of the half. And we take the two big clear-cut chances and kind of going in at half-time, then you are thinking, okay, force 15, just fucking keep it simple. Play a little bit clever and try bang them on the break because they are going to give us opportunity. And that's how it played out.
Keith, we get into the second half, and I'm being honest with you, like we were speaking in our WhatsApp at half time, we were saying we did welcoming 2-0, but we are kind of not feeling mad comfortable. Just because of that period when after Salah's goal where they're hitting posts and always at a penalty and you kind of feel like something building. Now, Salah makes it 2 on 40 minutes and we get in at half time and you're kind of going, right, that's probably settled us. But in the back of your mind, you're going on the sample size of this season where Liverpool haven't, for the vast majority of the games, put in a 90-minute performance. You know, you can count them on one hand over this season, and we're kind of a bit wary and kind of we're kind of justified in that, weren't we? Because the start of the second half, Alisson saves from Dyer, Perisic hits the bar, then Alisson decides he's just going to go walkabout with the fucking ball. It's all going on. This is in the first 10 minutes of the second half, and I'm going, and I text you lads saying we could fucking lose this game the way this is just literally going, because, and I'm not saying that Spurs were amazing, but I just thought if they get a goal here before the hour, we're in fucking trouble here. That's what I felt, we're in trouble. But we get through it just about, don't we, Keith? Like, we just I don't know whether we switch off or we not even inviting them on, because I would have been happy with that. It was a bit weird, wasn't it? It was very sloppy, Keith. Very, very sloppy.
Yeah, very sloppy. It was, we just couldn't get a foothold in it. We let them come out when the reality is we knew they were going to come out stronger. They're a second half team in all their games. I was watching the commentary on the game I was watching, and they were saying, you know, they conserve energy in the first half so they can push it in the second. Like, that's a plan. Like, that's a game plan.
Look, yeah, man. They're going to keep all the players on the bench, and then next season, bang.
Exactly.
That man in the green and white. Ridiculous.
But that's it. Like, that was the talk. It was they're conserving their energy for the second half, because this is what Spurs do. They don't waste it. This is a Conte trick. He doesn't get his players to waste energy in the first half.
Do nothing in the first half, lads. It's all about the
goals. Just don't be 5 or 6 down, and we're going to have a good go of it in the second half. And I thought that was a bit mad, but they are obviously a second half team, and you just knew they were going to come out. They were built off the pitch. They're going to come out. Conte's a head case. He's a little rat, fairness. I can't stand the fucker. Little angry ant. Never accepted his baldness, and he just looks a sham for it now. But he was obviously going to tear them in the arsehole, because he's, like I said, he's angry, and they were going to come out, and they were better in the second half. But I think we played into that. We didn't have any control in the midfield, I don't think, in the second half. Alisson, as I say, was nearly caught out by Kane when he's somehow didn't see him coming from the side of him. You know, it's not like he came from behind him or anything. And it was just looking like, this is starting to all add up. These little chances, they're going to turn the screw. And the whole thing I thought with Spurs was they never really did turn that screw. Do you know what I mean? They were threatening to turn it, but never turned it. And the reason I was always confident, and we can, if you want to lay blame at Konate on the goal, you know, I think it's a bit harsh, but he was having such a good game. He was having such a good game that I was sort of like a little bit calmer than I probably would have been. And I don't mean to dig out Joe Gomez here, but if that was Joe Gomez, I don't think I'd have felt that way because I just felt that Konate, my missus and all said it to me, is he playing in midfield? Because at one stage in the first half, Harry Kane was dropping so far back, and next thing he turned around and Konate was in his face. Do you know what I mean? Now, he wasn't too tight in the sense that he was getting turned. He was just there. He was like a bad smell around Harry Kane, and he was carrying that ball, and he was just excellent. So he gave me a sense of calmness nearly in that I'm like, it's one of these. Virgil isn't having to be Superman here. He's doing, I'd say, very little, really. Do you know what I mean? Konate's doing all the heavy lifting here, and I just felt confident in that. So, well, I felt Spurs were starting to put on some pressure. I just never felt they acted on it. They got the goal, in fairness. It's a nice goal. It's good play by Kulusevski, but I just didn't think they had it in them, and I thought I was confident in Liverpool that they'd have been able to see it through. But that's because we built up that 2-goal lead, and it's not something that we're really used to, you know what I mean? And the fact that we had that allowed, Spurs had their start of that second half, but it was all huff and puff, blow the house down, didn't blow the house down. So happy enough with that. Let them do that all day long. And it just showed a solidity to Liverpool that we haven't seen in a while. And I was happy enough with that.
It was, Emmet, Kane scores in the 70th minute, right? And a few people have said this, and Seany and Keith both said it to me earlier, and a few in the chat have said it here, but he scores in the 70th minute. The subs we make are on 74, I think, right?
10 minutes.
Should we have done this on, like, I was looking at it going on 65, make a change here, right? Get a couple of lads on that aren't being caught up in all the fucking messing that's going on, and we could just pick them apart, like, because you've seen them many times they win the ball where we go, if we're just a bit cooler on this, it's just one extra pass or just take an extra second and we'll open these up. We will open them up. But I thought the changes, and the lads, like I said, the lads said it to me earlier on during the game. I thought the changes came too late. We were seeing what was going on here as a team, and we weren't doing anything to change it. We weren't being quicker on the ball or being smarter on the ball. So changes needed to come a bit earlier for me. Probably 65.
Yeah, look, I think in the past he's been very reactive with changes rather than being proactive. Do you know what I mean? So we could see what was happening. So you make the changes. You don't make the change after it's happened. But I agree, yeah. Should have been around about 60, 65. And it did require somebody to kind of nearly get on the ball. And look, Jones comes on, and when he gets on the ball, he can't hold the ball. Do you know what I mean? And it just needed somebody to hold on to it and take the sting out of the game. Our passing was absolutely shocking in the second half compared to the first half. I think, look, our passing is actually worse when we try and do it slower. I know that sounds mad, where if you're actually passing 1 and 2 touch, you're more likely to misplace a pass. But I think when we've got too much time to think about passes, we actually misplace them more. It obviously gives them more chance to get closer to us to intercept it and press us. But yeah, definitely, I think that the changes should have happened sooner. And I think that's probably not getting in on Klopp, but it's something that he's been guilty of a lot in the past, is making kind of nearly closing the gate after the horse has bolted nearly.
I think not even the fact that I think it maybe stabilises us and gives us a different way of thinking when we get those players on the pitch, because I do feel like our players are being kind of caught up in all the fucking pinball that was going on. They were kind of not enjoying it, but we're falling into that trap where this is just what's happening. But even bringing on subs then, subs there, you make Spurs think. Spurs will probably stand off for 5 minutes, go, hold on, what are they doing here? And that gives us that's a second way of giving us a chance to get our foot on the ball and play a little bit more.
But it also breaks the rhythm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it makes them think for 5 minutes. Yeah.
But I think that's where you're going to question Klopp on that, because they're on top, and I think he has an opportunity to make the changes while it's still 2-0, and you can kind of upset their rhythm. But he waits until they score. So after Spurs score, they go up a level again, because the crowd is at them and they're ramping it that little bit more and they're pushing, and he made the sort of changes. So then when Henderson come on, he looked exactly like the fucking others. It just looked like panic. You were turning into each other. The ball was just bouncing. We weren't getting a foot on it at all. And I agree 100% with what Emmet said. I think when you're getting pressed and you're taking the extra second on the ball, like Alisson nearly gets fucking caught on his line with Kane. So it was one of them. I just think we had to manage that game today because I actually think Spurs are wrong going the other way. I really do. Like we missed chances in the second half, which we haven't really talked about yet today. And I'm with Kev saying when we went to the 5 at the back, it didn't really do us any good. But I think that was Klopp just knowing this is going to come down to pinball, and I need an extra fucking body in there if it does happen to drop and start pinballing around the box. And I think that's exactly what Gomez was brought in for. But if you actually look at it, I think there's a couple of like glancers and that after they get the second or the first, there's no real heart in your mouth stuff. There's a ball to the back post that I think is missed. But other than that, I think it was kind of Klopp's kind of accepting, all right, we may need to just dig in. But I was looking at 16 minutes going, make the fucking change. And I think that could be something you often level at Klopp, where he maybe just waits that little bit too long. And look, at the end of the day, what we don't realise, and he's actually come out and said that he's had to manage this squad now, no matter what the score is in games where he kind of has them down. Okay, I'm going to make this sub then. Look, thankfully today, it fucking worked out. I don't think we managed the game, but in the end, we did exactly what we needed to do. They rattled the bar, but that was it. Who was that? I know Ben the Court had a few headers alive late, but
it was Perisic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Early
Perisic hit the bar early in the second half.
But was that not ball pulled across? It's still 2-0 at that stage.
Smash.
After 2-1, I could be wrong now.
Not an awful lot happens. There's one where Virgil kind of goes to head and it kind of hits him and loops towards the back post. And there's a few of them out, but they're nowhere really close when you actually look at the
I don't like us being in them situations because it's just not what we normally do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we managed today, but again, I think Spurs that quality is.
I think if they were going to score, it was going to be a poxy one where the ball gets played into the box. It comes out,
bounces off a couple of people, and someone just
drops right at fucking Kane's feet, and
Thiago kicks Lucas in the head, and on another day, be given,
Yeah.
Longley misses a free header. Look, do you know what, boys? If I'm being honest, right, you look back at the last since they've been in that new stadium. When we're in form, it's never a good fucking. It's all the games are always like that at Spurs. Always. I think even we went 3-1 up a few years ago, and we managed to make it a scooter in the end. It's a fucking tough place to go.
Yeah.
And it can be even when you're in form. And I think if we have the points tally that Newcastle have, and we win that game today, you're saying, "Oh, that's title winning football." It's just because the football beforehand, the points we've dropped, you're kind of going, so now what, Liverpool probably got away with that one today, they were lucky. Whereas if you're at the higher end, top end of the table, you're thinking, oh, that's resilience and that's title winning football and that's digging in and grinding it out. And that's what it was. It's just you won't call it that because
not because of the situation we're in,
yeah, so like you kind of we grinded one out, which we haven't really done like that in a while. Where I don't like there's games where we've won this year, and I'm thinking Newcastle could have won that, Brighton could have won that. Fucking the games where we just snatch. I don't think they deserve to win that game today. Newcastle, Spurs. I wouldn't even have given them a draw, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree totally with that.
I think that win today does more for us, I think, than the Napoli win and the win to Ajax in the Champions League.
Well,
we've had to dig in, we've had to grind it out. Do you know what I mean? And we can see that we can still do it. Do you know what I mean?
Keith, it's a big win. It's 3 points, and we've seen over the last couple of weeks, like where I think we lose to Forest and everyone else around loses as well, and we're kind of going, Jesus, if we'd have got 3 points there, and then you look at this week, and listen, people are saying Arsenal will blow up and stuff. I don't agree. I think Arsenal and City will be one. I think City Arsenal will be 1 and 2 in the league this season. They're just on now. the World Cup can do an awful lot of things, but it can also help them strengthen. And I think just the way they're both playing at the moment, I think they're far and away the two best teams in the league at the moment. So I'm good with that. But when you look around and you think United got beaten today, all right, Newcastle are on good form. We beat Spurs. We get within 4 points of them if we win our game in hand. You know, and all I'm doing at the moment is I'm looking and going, right, who's in fourth? How many points are we behind them? You know, I think, is the Spurs are fourth at the moment?
Yeah.
So I'm looking, going, right, win our game in hand and we're 4 points off them, right? At most, right? That game in hand won't come till after the World Cup anyway, right? But, Keith, it's all about now just going and getting 3 points against Southampton and saying, right, it hasn't been fucking great. We've had issues on the pitch, form-wise, decision making, you name it, we've had it, right? Some of it's self-inflicted, some of it's been unfortunate, but we just have to get and go, listen, that's what with the cards we've been dealt, that's where we are, and we just go into that World Cup, we go into the January, we come back on the 26th of December, we're into a transfer window soon after. We just have to get to this World Cup now, don't we? We just have to get through Southampton, get 3 points and go, right, that's our lot, put it to bed for a little bit, and the rest might be good. The break from anyway.
It has to be 3 against Southampton. We've seen this fault done too many times. You know, it had to be 3 against Forest. It had to be 3 against Leeds. Again, we faced a team where the bleeding manager just got the bullet. I hate that. I bleeding hate that, playing a team when the manager gets sacked. This new manager bounce. But I don't fancy Southampton, to be honest. I think Liverpool should go, because we're going to go in there with a bit of confidence, you know, and that's what that win today does, is it gives you that bit of belief that, yeah, we can grind it out when we need to. We have the match winners. We have the Darwin Nunez unpredictability up there. We have Mo Salah scoring excellent goals again. And we have Konate back in there, who we've all said, look, the difference that fella's making to the team. So, you know, we go in there with a bit of confidence and we see where it goes. But that's it now. That's the be all and end all. Get that win in, and that puts, so at the moment we're 8th in the league, 19 points, 7. Spurs are in 4th, 7 points ahead of us. We've a game in hand. But, you know, you're looking at the teams ahead of us. Chelsea are in 7th. They're not great. You know, Brighton are ahead of them. I like Brighton. I'm a big fan of Brighton. I'd imagine we can reel them in. United, basket case. Until they prove otherwise, I think we can reel them in. Spurs, no doubt we can reel them in. And Newcastle, good team, Saudi Arabia, all that. Fancy us to beat them or to reel them in. So I'm looking at that, and until Arsenal prove as well that they're not going to shit the bed, I think we can reel them in. But realistically, I don't think we'll catch the likes of Arsenal, because they are good and they're grinding out wins as well, which they never really did before. But I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at City. They're the ones you think they're going to run away with this league. But if we can, and this is ifs, big if we can get any of our shit together in any way, we can put on them runs that can horse up them points, that can do a 10-12 game unbeaten run and try and get a semblance of respectability back in this league. I don't trust any of them in the immediate spots ahead of us to be able to do that. I expect a lot of them to shit their bags in games, including the likes of Man United, who everyone's raving about and got absolutely humped today by Aston Villa, including Chelsea, who, I don't know, the talk when they brought in Graham Potter was, this is a long-term appointment and whatever happens, happens. They look shy. Do you know what I mean? They don't look at the races at all. And, you know, if they're out of form, and Spurs, we all agree, don't look great, you know, there's no reason why Liverpool can't be in that mix, but they have to start. The next 3 points is vital, and then the 3 points after the World Cup is vital, and the 3 points after that game is vital. Then we hit January. There has to be movement in January, because I don't care if we put on a good run in these, you know, 2 games in the end of December. We cannot go into the second half of this season where there's a lot of fucking games. We cannot go into that with these players, trying to get these players to do it. We're lucky that we've got to here with them. There's no chance we can keep going. And if we do, if that's our plan to keep going with these lads, we'll fall away. So I'm not one to be reactionary. Go out and buy someone. We have to buy someone. And I'm seeing links are coming out heavily with players now.
Sangara and
Cody Gakpo
off PSV. Yeah. Apparently, Sangara's had his contract renegotiated to have a buyout clause in it now, because they're stuck for money. But anyway, look, Before we move on, we're going to talk about Naby Keita for a few minutes, right? But before we do, random. You can put in a random question if you want for the very end that the lads can answer. It can be fucking alternate endings to whatever you want. It can be anything you want. But we're only calling out that answer or that question if it goes over 200 likes. It currently sits at 163. There's 411 people watching. So if we get 37 more likes, the random question that's the best one in the chat will be called out. If we don't, we're not calling it out. Focus. All right. It's been a bad night. The intro's gone wrong. We were live and we weren't live. It's all YouTube fault. I'm very fucking upset. Right. Seany's going to be head melted now. I'll be telling Seany for 2 days about this. He won't be fucking listening. He never does. Naby Keita, right? So hit the like button. Get up to 200. We get it to 200, and you keep putting in your random questions. We'll pick the best one, and we go from there. But Naby Keita, Emmet, looks like he's taken another knock. Won't be seen now from Liverpool till January at the earliest. Are you buying all this?
No.
Because I was of the opinion when he went down, when he got injured, remember before the United game, I was like, he won't play again for us. That's him done because, and listen, it wasn't any insider information or anything like that. It was literally looking at Klopp's face while he was speaking about him. I thought, this fella's had just about enough now. He's had a fucking enough. He's been back in training a little bit. He hasn't been near a squad. Now he's taking another knock. This will get him through to January. He can negotiate with other clubs. Are you buying any of this? Because I'm not. I think this is probably the club and the player, although there's probably been a falling out, and I'm only saying that off my own bat, they've come up with, he's got another knock, and they're just working on the next out of the club now.
Yeah, I agree, and I was a Naby fan, and I always hoped that he would come good. When he was good, he was really good. But I don't believe any of this. Somebody said, was it Achilles? Somebody said it was Achilles or something. I don't know. I don't believe it. He's not injured at all. He's probably been, what they say, sent to Coventry by Klopp. It's probably another Sacco job, you know. And it's just get to a time where he can sign. I've actually got a week off in January. I don't mind driving over. I'll fucking drive him wherever he wants to go. And
no, the price of diesel you want.
No, I don't care about the price of fucking diesel. We'll just get rid of him. No, I don't believe it at all. I don't think he's injured. It is. I don't even think we sell him in January. I don't even think we'd get at him that much for. We'd probably get less than 10 million for him in January. Or is he a make weight in another deal? I don't know. But he's probably already got his next deal lined up, and he knows where he's going. He's holding out. He wants a big signing on bonus for free in the summer. That's just the way it's going to be.
Seany, you buying any of this?
No, I got lashed for saying after the Newcastle game, saying I was a weirdo for saying what I said. So he wasn't on the bench, this, that, and the other. He's been done at Liverpool for a long time. I know I've seen in the comments people saying, Seany Brand coming up. What's the point? Honestly. Seriously. He's been no use to us. Absolutely no use. And I see people turning around going, people blaming this on Naby Keita. Yeah, hold on. The fucking answer is in the question. Blaming on Naby Keita when he hasn't been around. He's followed up his best season at Liverpool, which you'd say last year, with this shite again. And you know what? It's our fault because we should have fucked him off a long time ago. I would literally pay him out of his contract.
Yeah.
Honest to God. I'd get him off the books and just say, look, you got it wrong. 50 million. That was bad. All the best. Out the gap. And I'd give fucking Curtis Jones the 8 before I'd let him hang it up at the club and take whatever he was getting. Look, listen, it is what it is. It hasn't worked out. I think Liverpool maybe held on to hope for too long with him. When he was good, he was good. He wasn't good for more than 5 games in a row. He does well at Liverpool. He wins a few trophies. For me, he's another Emre Can. That's it. Done. I won't look back at Keita in any positive or real negative way. It will just be one of them. Look, good luck. See you later. Didn't do that. Don't compare him to Daniel Sturridge. When Daniel Sturridge was fit, he was fucking brilliant for Liverpool. When this fella was fit, he did okay. I don't give a fuck if fellas are sitting in their rooms, in their jocks, with spreadsheets open on Excel, telling me how this fella has the most fucking forward passes. in the back garden. I don't give a shit. He's the general in his own fucking gaff. That's all I see. It was 54 million, very poorly spent. A 28-year-old midfielder who should be in the prime of his career, playing for Liverpool, pulling on the jersey, playing in the top competitions, but he's not. I can't question his attitude. I don't know much about him. All I know is the writing was on the wall from very fucking early. And if you go back to his first season at Liverpool, the very first Champions League game he plays for Liverpool is away to Napoli, and he completely dials it in. And the writing should have been on the wall. The fella left the pitch on a stretcher, and he was fit for the game on the Saturday morning at 12:30. And you know what? You can go back and fucking check that, because it was a Tuesday, Saturday, and the game after that was a 12:30 Saturday game, and he starts. So he should be fucking gone. He's done nothing. Done nothing of note at Liverpool. Nothing at all. Not deserved his praise, not deserved. Just be gone with him and let it go. And that's all it is. That's all we can do now, because there's nothing to suggest he's really injured. Nothing.
No, like
I told you, the night we beat Newcastle, there's lads who are there who are injured, and they're all on the fucking bench, and they're jumping around the squad, and he's been nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Absolutely nowhere. And you know what? I'll finger the blame on Klopp a little bit, because it looks like to me he's probably stuck by him for too long. So look, that's not a fucking rant. That's all it is. He needs to be forgotten about now. I don't want to see people getting into debates about whether this fella should be in a starting 11 when he's fit or not, because it's fucking stupid. It's completely hypothetical. He's never fit for long enough to be considered one of our better players. And people hold this fucker in a higher regard than Jordan Henderson. Are you smoking crack or what? He's the complete antithesis of fucking Jordan Henderson. Henderson, who's probably shortened his career playing injured for Liverpool. He was played centre half for Liverpool. Who fucking went into the trenches every single time. When has that cunt ever went into the trenches for Liverpool? Never.
No, he probably missed 6 months of trench football. That was
all the best of it. All the fucking best.
Well, the way I look at it is, I think I said it for ages. I think Naby Keita has all the tools to be a really, really good player with Liverpool, but he's not on the pitch enough. That's it. Not on the pitch enough. And you know, I was on Twitter the other day, and someone was saying like Rice over Keita, and I'll be honest, I'm on the fence with Declan Rice, and it's not because he was Irish and now he's English. None of that. That's Keith's fucking bag, right? But I'm a bit on the fence with him, right? Look, maybe.
Last thing I'd say, Gav, what type of player is Naby Keita? Go around everyone in this chat. What type of player is Naby Keita?
I don't know what type of player he is for Liverpool, because he hasn't been on the pitch long enough. That's what I'm trying to make. But the thing is, right, with Declan Rice, I kind of look and I say to myself, don't get me wrong, Declan Rice could go on and play for Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, whoever, and you'd see him go up a level where he's playing much higher standard of football, expectancies a lot higher, and he could be absolutely fantastic, right? And someone said, but Rice is way better, and I went, well, yeah, at the level he's at now at the minute, he's really, really fucking good, right? But he would always win out. You know, if you had to put a gun to me head, he'll always win out over Naby Keita, because Declan Rice probably plays 34 league games a season, you know, or 33 league games a season, which is fucking well above average, right, for most players, especially in midfield. But for me, Naby, like I said earlier, when Naby Keita, when we're struggling and we're going to United, and Klopp can't name Naby Keita in that squad or in that team, and you see him going, he was there and now he's not. Just bang, he's gone again. Yeah. I just thought I seen in Klopp's face where he went, just utter frustration, where he was probably frustrated before, but this was like, no, me bollocks now, I'm not having this anymore. Like, you know, it's gone on and on and on, and we're trying, and it feels a bit like if anything goes wrong with Naby Keita, it's like, oh, he's injured, you know, can't play. I don't know if we get rid of him in January. I understand the thing where you pay him off or whatever. I don't know who's buying Naby Keita, simply because they look and go, are we buying this fella who cannot get on the pitch? Whereas someone might turn around and go, listen, we're not paying 10 million for him in January, but we give him fucking 5 million to sign on for us on a 3-year deal for X amount, and then we'll test it and see what happens. I think he ends up there at
Gotta
the
go
end
to
of the
Napoli or
season.
something.
I think he ends up probably going back to Germany, but I think he ends up.
Took Werner back. They'll take him back.
Yeah, I think he ends up at Liverpool till the end of the season. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see if he actually doesn't play for us again. Because I'm kind of with you, Seany. I think we kind of went, no, this is enough now. Bang.
Yeah, but look, I'm not having people saying Ox is the same. Ox had a couple of horrendous injuries at Liverpool. Horrendous
season enders,
like horrendous injuries. Like, and if that's something that's completely out, like, Keita's been out with fucking acute angina. He's been out with. He has a nice pair of tits still. I had to get that in. No, he's been out with literally every single sore throat. The new GTA is out. FIFA's out, not in that day. Like, you know, like all of the fucking dog ate me homework.
Saturday night fever.
Yeah, Mrs. took the days. I only had one set. Like, literally every single excuse under the sun. Look, Chamberlain again, very frustrating, but the lad had a couple of fucking shockers on the pitch. He
did, but you see, the thing is, right, he has had them, right, and he's being back, but he was fit at the back end of last season and wasn't looked at, right, and I'm telling you, I believe it more than most things I believed in the summer. If you brought Jurgen Klopp back to that summer, he's not playing him in fucking Asia. He's not playing him. He's saying, no, you're not coming, or I'm not putting you on the fucking pitch because he's up for fucking sale. And I'm telling you, Oxlade-Chamberlain would not be a Liverpool player today if he hadn't got that injury in Asia. And that's where the ruthlessness comes into it that we spoke about last week. He isn't the same position as Naby Keita, where he's not on the pitch enough. Regardless of, you know, maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain goes and you say to yourself, oh, well, you know what, he did have a fucking horrendous one against Roma. He's a bad injury there in the summer where I think it's fucking, it was a groin he done or a hamstring.
It was
a really bad hamstring tear, right? And you kind of go, you know what, he probably exits the club where you feel a bit more sympathy for him, but he's in the exact same position as Naby Keita, where you're not going to get money for him. He's in the last 6 months of a deal, and nobody's going to pay money to take a chance on this fella. Like someone said there, they'll get 20 to 25 for Naby Keita. You would absolutely want to be bananas to be paying
round up and get the whole 50p, I'd say.
You know what I mean? It's yeah, okay. But you want to be absolutely like bananas to do something like that. Keith, I don't think he leaves in January because I think he's looking at the summer and a signing on fee, and it suits possible suitors to say, listen, we're not paying now, but we'll do something in the summer. Does he get a chance to get back in this team? Because it all doesn't add up for me, Keith. He's taken another knock, and it just doesn't add up for me.
No, I hope not. And that's not to be, you know, I want every Liverpool player to succeed. I want every signing to be successful. But Naby Keita hasn't been. And Seany touched on it. These fellas that are sitting at home in their underwear, in their ma's room, telling you how excellent he is and how much pressing triggers he does and how many, you know, possessions going forward he's involved with and the most attacking player. My eyes don't tell me that. My eyes are telling me something totally different than what these lads are telling me about Naby Keita. And Johnny said about Daniel Sturridge, you know, it's chalk and cheese. I would tear his contract up because if we don't, we need a new player in January, a midfield player. And if we don't sign one on the basis that, well, we've only 6 months and we'll just play him, that's not worth a shy. Do you know what I mean? And Ox is unfortunately in the same boat as him in the sense that he's running out of time and he's very rarely fit. And you know, it hasn't worked out for the Ox either. But you're all right. Naby Keita misses games for fucking anything. Do you know what I mean? There's no consistency. There's no desire to play there. There's no playing through any pain barrier. And Seany's right. The reddest of red flags was the Napoli game when he goes off on a stretcher. And I'll never forget it. Like that Saturday morning when he's in the team and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Do you know, this fella was bleeding carted off. He was in bits during the night and now he's starting the game. He's got injured in warm-ups. He's just let us down so many times. And if you want to moan about James Milner playing games for Liverpool in 2022, if you want to moan about Jordan Henderson still being in that team, if you want to moan about Fabinho falling off a cliff, look at him, because his unavailability is why these are having to fucking go to the well all the time. Do you know what I mean? We should have players that James Milner should be just in that squad now as a culture setter. Jordan Henderson should just be in that squad now as a culture setter without the minutes they're having to play. But they're having to play all the time because of this lad. It hasn't worked out. £54 million. You know, we thought we were getting something. In fact, the reddest of red flags was when we didn't get him when we wanted him, had to wait a year, and saw his form fall off a fucking cliff at Leipzig in that year as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was a red flag. His attitude stunk.
Someone says there, look to swap him for Leimer, or Leimer, is that his name, off Leipzig, isn't it?
That could be a solution.
Yeah, but hold on, he's missed 68 games in the last 3 seasons.
Conrad Leimer. Yeah. Conrad Leimer's injury record, he generally he's okay, he's robust enough, but he just has a bad injury. He's coming back from a bad injury this year, but I'd swap him for Blade anyone, do you know what I mean? Okay. Declan Rice, I'd swap him for egg fried rice at this stage, just get rid of him.
Okay. We've got to 200 likes, so I've chosen a question, and I'm gonna give Veranda Cheese his moment of fame here. So he asked the question, right, to finish. He says, if you dug a hole from the top of the earth to the bottom of the earth, do you come out feet first or head first? What do you reckon? A lot of silence.
Shawnee's on mute. Is he talking?
Shawnee's on mute, yeah.
You come out head first.
Come out head first, to Shawnee.
You're digging down.
How would you not come out head first? What are you going to do? Fall out of the fucking ground?
Yeah, keep digging till you fall.
If you go around the earth's core, you're digging up. You're digging up.
So if you dig from where you are now directly down, when you get to the bottom, you're coming out head first.
It's not possible. Like, that's stupid. That's stupid. If you dig down straight, like, you can't do that. You have to navigate the fucking. Like, that's not even like. That's like saying if you could walk on the clouds, would it be hard or would it be soft? That's stupid.
But would you come out head first or feet first?
Stephen Lennon says shovel first.
No, because you die in the fucking melting hot.
Don't be worried about the melting bits in the middle. I'm just.
You have safety shoes on.
You have a high vis on. You be grand. So head first for Shawty. Emma, head first or feet first?
I'm trying to imagine myself digging a fucking hole here. I think head first as well, because you're digging down.
Yeah. You're digging down, so when you get to the end.
Yeah, but what's the end?
Yeah.
From the top of the earth to the bottom of the earth.
Some Irish bar in Australia.
Yeah, dirty Nellies.
I'd say you come out feet first.
How can you come out feet first?
Well, I'll tell you what, you'd be there with all.
Because you're not digging up. You're digging down.
Yeah, but when you get to where you're going to put your head out to see where it is.
You might be able to. You're digging up.
It's going to be like a breech berth. What are you going to pull you out of hole with your ankles?
just some Australian fella there with a can of Fosters and like a set of what you call them things they pull the babies out with, the forceps. Just one of them. Just a massive.
It's going to be head first because you're going to come up. You're going down but up out of the hole.
Okay, I'm delighted with this question. I really am.
Like, Veranda Cheese, what's your answer?
Veranda Cheese won't give his answer because he'll just tell you the world is flat. So,
because when I go on now, he's just going to argue with me about it.
Of course he is.
Of
course he is.
Oh, is he a flat earther as well?
No,
that changes everything.
He just pretends
that changes it all then.
Right, Keith, one for you, and the other lads can throw in if they want because you love this shit. Anthony O'Chill asks, the alternative ending to Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, I love Terminator 2. I haven't seen it in years, so I have to have a think here. Oh, shit, at the end of that's a bit mad, isn't it? The alternative ending of that, so...
How does it end?
Off the chain, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Goes
he
down,
hangs
goes
out.
down into the
Din,
thing.
din, 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 real sad,
Give
and
it
he
the
melts
thumbs
into
up.
the thing. Yeah, that's it. One of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what we can have as the alternative ending
Well,
for it.
sorry. What happens at the end of it?
He drops
The
down into a
Terminator
load of
drops into
lava
the
on a
lava.
chain.
So he destroys himself.
Okay.
He could marry Sarah Connor and have children with her if we want to do that. Or John Connor could marry Sarah Connor and have some incestuous
I think he
stuff with his
kneels
mother.
down beside the lava and tests it with his elbow and goes, "Hang on, I'll give that a minute."
Yeah. Give it a
Oh,
whirl.
hey,
Give
do
it a
with your
whirl.
bat.
Do I go in feet first or head first? That's what he
Well, it depends where he's digging from,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Okay. Anyone else? No? Leave it there? Good. Right, that has been the Fatback 4. All our outros broke. We were live, we weren't live, but trust me, we were. But YouTube broke it, and I'm standing by that. Liverpool have beaten Spurs by 2-1. We carry on now to Derby during the week and Southampton next Saturday. Link is in the description if you want to help Lydia get to £5,000 to help with her. What's the word again?
Endometriosis.
There you go. If you want to help with that, the link is in the description. The beanie hats are still available, still a few left. If you hit the Linktree link within the show description, you will be able to get to them. And the offer is still there. If you buy 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, wherever it is, or weareliverpool.ie, for the amount of items you buy, that's the amount of entries you will get into a draw after the 17th or 18th of November. Rest of the week, we should have winners and losers tomorrow. That's not confirmed, but we should have. What day do we play Derby? No one knows. Who gives a bollocks? So what have we got the rest of the week? Winners and losers, yeah, we're looking at. Emmet's trying to find out what day we play Derby. We should all know this, but we don't. We just Wednesday. So Tuesday we'll probably have a build up to Derby and do something else there. Wednesday we'll have a full time Reds. Thursday will be Viewers Voice. Friday will be Premier League Forecast. Saturday will be full time Reds, and Sunday will be the Fatback 4. Emmet, anything else before we go?
No, all good.
Okay. Seany, anything else before we go?
No, all good.
Okay.
All good.
Keith, anything else before we go?
No complaints. All good. Good night. Good day.
One quick question for you all. I just want one more answer. Who do you want in the Champions League draw tomorrow, Keith?
Porto.
Yeah, Emma.
Shit house.
Porto.
Seany.
Porto.
Good stuff. All right.
Gav.
I think we get Bayern Munich, but I'll take Porto. So that's how it goes. Right, that has been it. We'll talk to you soon. Over and out.